Joining us this morning, Titania Jordan.
Tatiana Jordan. Did I get the name right? Jordan?
Titania.
Titania. Okay. All right.
It's Titania Jordan.
Loosen up, woo, spirit fingers,
Already.
deep some breaths. All good up in here. Okay, welcome everybody to Connect. Today, I have Andrew Hamilton, CTO of Parkmobile. Thank you so much for being here.
Good morning, thank you for having me.
Yeah, so if you don't know, and you should, Parkmobile is a complete game changer. Whenever you're parking anywhere, you know, we're in the city of Atlanta, and you have to be somewhere you're not super familiar with. Try to find the meter. You maybe have cash, maybe you don't. Maybe the card reader's not working. Like Parkmobile eliminates all of that. I don't even have to get out of my car, which is great for safety reasons. I can just pull up the app. I've put my license plate in. They know my car. My payment information's in there. I enter my zone, the amount of time I want to park. Boom.
Yep, great when it's raining too. So you can go up to the office and start a session from the office, start a session from the train. I mean, there's plenty of other places where you can use the app without having to wait around in the car or wait outside the car.
It's huge. And I know I talked about that safety issue, but seriously, as a woman, like maybe I have to go to an event at night. It's 9 p.m., I'm in downtown Atlanta, I'm in heels. Like if somebody's chasing me, I'm not getting anywhere fast, right? So like the less time I have to spend being a sitting duck at a parking meter, bueno, like really good. So thank you for that.
Excellent, thank you.
So yes, you're the CTO and of this amazing company that is blowing up. Like all of us in any business, but especially startup land, dream of launching a product that truly changes people's lives to the level of like Uber and Facebook, right? So you guys have done that.
Well, we'd love to think of it that way.
But you have.
It's a great competition.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's a great concept. We're about 7 million users in the US, so 150,000 transactions a day. So things are really picking up. We're getting to see some of that momentum going forward. Probably one of the biggest challenges that we have, I think we were talking about this a bit earlier, but one of the challenges we have is getting people to come back and use it again and again and again. If we can break that and get our marketing team to really get the responses we need, that's what's going to make the business. So not just parking once a month or twice a month, but really getting it so people use it every single day. That is the challenge for us right now.
Interesting. Yeah, wow, we could do a whole episode about that, right? Because there isn't always the challenge of having to park somewhere every day that is paid. So that's a hindrance there. But if there is, yours would be the first one I know I would use, right?
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Is it about just more market saturation?
Yeah, I think it's just the ability when you go to a different market. So if you're in Atlanta and you go to DC, for instance, you can use it in DC. Going from DC to Philadelphia, you can use it in Philadelphia. So those are the places where people really start to see it as a go-to app. So they can really use the app anywhere they go. And we cover 7 out of the 10 major cities in the US today.
So awesome. Yeah, when I see that green, it's familiarity. It's excellent branding, by the way. Kudos, marketing team. Like,
absolutely.
Good stuff.
Yeah, fantastic.
So one thing I do want to talk about with you, because you're in the thick of it as the CTO, is what are the challenges you encounter when your business is booming, right? Like, yay, great, business is booming. But what does that mean?
It's interesting because I was actually talking to a company a couple of days ago. When you don't have customers, it's really easy to focus on features and functionality and to be able to really play with the system a little bit and get a lot of nice things in there. When you have customers and you have millions of people relying on you on a monthly basis, it's more difficult. You have to spend a lot of time in performance tuning, making sure it works correctly, making sure you've got a high availability plan. So there's a lot more to it, and you have a good customer base and a strong customer base to keep them happy. It's not all about features. We have great features, but keeping the application simple, easy to use, reliable, working every single day, that's really the challenge for us right now, is keeping ahead of that as we add customers and transactions.
And I love that you emphasize the word simple, because the app is beautiful and simple.
That's
it
good to hear.
is so hard to make something simple. It's very easy to make it complicated and feature rich and feature creep and no. Like, talk about how you emphasize that philosophy of keep it simple.
Yeah, absolutely. On the application payment section of the mobile apps, it is fairly easy to use and fairly straightforward. For the most part, you select the zone number, you select the duration, and you go. The part that we still have a challenge with and we're working with today is the registration component. When you're in front of the meter, you have to download the application, you have to put in your license plate number, you have to put in your credit card number. That's the part we're speeding up today. Awesome. We're actually working with Apple and Apple Pay, and we should have Apple Pay in the app within the next couple of months. So
wow.
really excited about getting that. That speeds it up tremendously. So if you already have Apple Pay on your phone and it's ready to use, you've got a credit card registered with Apple, it's really easy to use.
How do you, if you can disclose, because it might be proprietary, but how do you go about observing friction points within the flow?
Actually, very interesting point. We use a company called Localytics based up in Boston. And they have little vent keys that we put into an application at various points. Mm-hmm. So we can see how far somebody got through the application and stopped. So we can tell by these Localytics events, basically, that they came into the application, they put in their license plate number, but they did not put in the credit card number. And we can see where those points are and improve them by interviewing potential customers, doing human factors testing, and really getting in front of the application with users. But that technology is fantastic. We use it every day.
Technology is the coolest.
Yes.
And for the people that do not make it all the way through, does Localytics or another program enable you to reach out to them and say, hey, you were left hanging, kind of like a shopping cart type thing? It
does, actually. Localytics, giving them a nice little...
right?
Yeah, absolutely. So Localytics does have the ability to reach out to customers as well. So you can do in-app alerts, and we can issue those in-app alerts as campaigns. We can also do email campaigns too to reach those customers. So absolutely, that's awesome. Exactly what it does.
Awesome. Yeah. And how is Parkmobile impacting and changing? Let's start with the city of Atlanta.
Yeah. So the Atlanta business itself was fairly small until about a year ago. So a year ago, Ponce City Market started charging people for parking. Yep. So up until that time, it was free parking as they started to add restaurants and build up the businesses. But once they built up that business base and they had retail there, they started to charge for parking. We were chosen as their vendor of choice for mobile payments. So you'll see our signs over there. They're in orange instead of green, which we don't like, but we'll fix that at some point in the future. So, but basically, that gave us the, trying to think of the word here, but having Ponce City Market enabled for Parkmobile gave us the visibility that we needed to get people to understand that Atlanta public parking could be Parkmobile at Atlanta public parking as well around the city.
Yeah.
So that really helped.
Yeah, I think actually that is the first place that I had my experience with Parkmobile, and I was like, this is brilliant. Of course it's at Ponce City Market, like new, vibrant, innovative place that's really, really thriving and techie, and of course that was a brilliant partnership and integration.
Absolutely. So almost everywhere I talk to in Atlanta that uses Parkmobile, their first touch point is Ponce City Market.
Wow.
So, and then they know to go and park in Atlanta public parking as well.
Winning. Yeah, I legit get angry when there is no Parkmobile. I'm like, what do you mean I have to get out of my car and then like go put a ticket back in my dashboard? Like, what is this?
Absolutely.
2005?
No, totally understand. It's so convenient. Once you've got a license plate and credit card registered and ready to go, it's so convenient at that point.
It really is. Gosh, this is so exciting. What are you the most excited about over the next year? What new innovations and new things are on the horizon? Yeah,
absolutely. So we mentioned Apple Pay. Very excited about that. That's going to help reduce the friction for getting new customers enabled and onboarded. So excited about that. Another one that we're working on soon is parking availability. So very excited about parking availability. So on the map view, eventually you're going to be able to see what parking spots should be available based on previous history. So it's not actually going to the meter and looking at every meter to see if somebody's parked there. That requires additional hardware. But what it does do is look at the year before or the week before or whether there was an event on it that week, and it'll tell you the likelihood of a street having availability.
That's huge. Yeah, the worst thing that you can do is assume there'll be parking and then, oh, Comic-Con's in town.
Yeah,
maybe
absolutely. Or they close the street or, exactly.
So that is helpful.
Yeah, those touch points will be in there for sure.
Thank you for that. And how is Parkmobile working across the globe? You know, it's beyond our city, it's beyond our country.
Yeah, absolutely. So Parkmobile, for our operation here in the US, is for Americas, for New Zealand, for Australia. That's where we're going to be working. But to reach into some of the markets, basically in South America for the most part, we are going to have multi-language support. We're going to have currency support for different currencies. And that's a big focus for 2018, is to get the multi-language and multi-currency support into our application.
Wow. How do you even begin to broach that? What does the first meeting look like when you're like, all right, people, we are going to New Zealand or someplace that doesn't speak English and has a different currency? Yeah.
If you look at a country like Brazil, the first thing you want to do is make sure it's a candidate for our application. Is there enough public parking? Is there enough off-street parking and on-street parking to make this work? If there is, then we can go and broach the subject with the local governments and see if it's something we want to do. Once that's done and we believe that there's a business case for it, we can start to look at the application itself. Within the application, we do need to look at all the different labels. We're moving away from using text within the application where we can, use icons and labels instead.
Yes.
So that helps a lot.
Yes.
So you get away from having a edit feature. Instead of the edit feature, you might have a little pencil or a pen on there instead. That makes a big difference. You've also got to talk to the businesses about back-end support. Are they okay with the back-end systems being in English? So the management tools, the reports, if they're not okay with them being in English, and you have to work on not just the front end of the application, but the back-end, back-office tools as well. So those are the challenges for us to make sure all that's working. Hiring an interpreter company, somebody that is a native speaker that can go through and make sense of the application and really make it feel like a native local application as well.
Huge. That's really, really cool, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
You mentioned something in your last statement that really, really resonated with me because, I'm a huge minimalist, love keeping things simple, and there's always a fight whenever you are developing the design and copy for an app of, do we just have the icon or do we have the text with the icon? Will everybody understand it? Will this be easy? And so based on your research, you found that the iconography is the way to go.
Yes, it definitely helps. Keep it simple. As long as the icons are fairly standard and
Super
people get
obvious.
used to it.
Yeah.
UI from Apple, for instance, we get help from Apple on our UI designs. That really helps a lot for us. But keeping it simple, using the real estate on the mobile app to its best, because there's not as much real estate as there in a web application, for instance. So that is a challenge that we are up against every day. I believe we're good at it, and we're getting better as time goes on. So yeah, absolutely.
Now you mentioned Apple helps you with UI. Like, okay, have you seen the movie The Wizard of Oz?
Yes.
Okay, and so like the wizard is in this castle and like nobody could get in.
Right.
Like there's like a little peephole. It's like maybe, right?
Right.
So you've gotten in.
Yes, we have relationships with Apple. We have deep relationships. Actually, interesting enough, one of the main contacts at Apple I used to work at when he was at MasterCard. So it's a small industry still in some ways where people do move around on the financial technology side from company to company. So we've been lucky that we have good relationships with Apple and people working at Apple that we've worked with before in other companies.
That's huge because they're a behemoth and like they can make or break your business.
Oh, absolutely.
And so absolutely. I'm really, really excited for you that you have that relationship. And Apple, if you're watching, like I would so love to be BFF with you. Call me. Yeah. So
That'll
there's
work.
that. Yeah. You have my number. I have, your device. And your watch, by the way. I love it. Best birthday present ever. Do you have one of these?
I don't have one. I have
gosh.
a old school Garmin, so that's what I've been using.
Okay, well, no, I'm kidding. I've always wanted a fitness tracker. I never got into that, and finally I was like, you know what? Again, back to the safety thing. If I'm on a run and I don't want to lug this thing around, but I need to make an emergency call, someone's being a creeper, like, now I can.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, so quick plug for Garmin. This doesn't have to get plugged in. It has a 1 year, 1.5 year battery life. So I'm pretty lazy when it comes to charging, so don't have to charge it at all. Just, that's it. No
That's
plugging.
huge.
Yes.
That's huge.
It still syncs to your phone as well.
So we didn't talk about this, but because, you're a CTO, you love techie stuff, I love techie stuff. What are some of your favorite tech gadgets? Like, do you have a Nest at home, and do you use Luma, or Wi-Fi router, and what are the things that you're using that make your life easier?
Actually, to be honest with you, I'm not a big technology user at home.
Okay.
And I think it's because I've been immersed in technology in the business for 25 years that when I go home, I keep things fairly simple. So
That's good.
Yeah, not a lot of technology in the home.
Yeah.
one of the pieces of technology I do love is my iPads, but my kids keep stealing them, so currently I do not have an iPad. My son's got my 4 and my daughter's got my 2, and they've been using them. So
how old are
it's
your
time for me to get a new one.
Yeah.
11-year-old twins.
Wow, that's
Boy and a girl.
Oh
so, yeah.
my gosh,
yeah, it's
that
a
is
handful.
Awesome. That is awesome. I either wanted to be a twin or have twins, neither of which happened. So
it's a lot of work until they're 2 years old. It got a lot easier after that.
I was a nanny for some twins in college. I started with them when they were 6 months old, and just
wow.
And now they're about to be seniors in high school, I think. So that
you stay in touch?
Yeah.
Okay,
that
that's
happened
awesome.
fast.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember that 6 months to 2 years. I was like, whoa.
Was it a boy and a girl?
No, 2 girls.
2 girls?
2 girls,
okay.
but just like carrying them down the steps at the same time.
Yeah. Going shopping.
Going shopping.
That's a challenge.
That is a challenge.
When they're little babies.
Yep.
Because the carts aren't really made for
no.
having 2 at the same time. So,
no, thank God their parents had a minivan that they let me use, basically like a spaceship, really. So anyway, we've totally gotten off topic. Andrew, what would you say is your biggest challenge you're facing, either personally or professionally, and what is a way that we as a community can maybe pour into you and help you? Because I'm all about community.
Yeah, I'm pretty connected to the Technology Association of Georgia, TAG here, which is fantastic. I'm on the executive board of directors for them as well. So I do understand that basically the family, the world here within Georgia and across the U.S. is great to be part of that community, and it's you bump into people all the time. So it's really interesting to see how small the world really is sometimes when you're a leader in technology within this community here.
Yeah.
So as far as help, I think 3CI have already been fantastic for us. We've used the company for recruiting. We've used the company just to run ideas past as well. That's always a big thing for me. Sometimes you're in the CTO role, you feel a little isolated from some of your peers. So it's good to be able to reach out and find out what other people are doing in other companies when you get a certain challenge. How are other people addressing awareness? How are other people addressing technology needs for cloud solutions, for instance? So it's great to be able to reach out to those people in the technology community here in Atlanta and Georgia.
Yeah, we've got a really special technology community here in our state. So high five to all of you. Thank you for being awesome. Andrew Hamilton, it is always a pleasure to get to speak with you and hear what you're working on. Thank you for all that you're doing in this space.
Well, thank you for having me. It's always great to be here with you as well. Appreciate it.